there's a thing in safety management, or risk management rather, where it's called the Swiss cheese. So there's several different things that line up contributing to an accident. And what I want to emphasize is to limit knee-jerk reactions. We actually have to dig into what went wrong, and not create new policies where there are effective policies that just need to be reviewed, and something went wrong with those, right? So in this case, one of the first layer of things to go wrong is a collision avoidance system. So in these aircraft, there should be automated systems that help them do emergency maneuvers to avoid. Now, because of the approach, the low approach or final, some of that could have been disabled. That's something that needs to be looked at. Another thing is on the air traffic control, they were getting a collision alert, and there was communication between the air traffic controller and the pilots, specifically of the Blackhawk, to make sure that they saw the incoming traffic. Now, if you look at the actual ADS-B or radar, that was way too close, right? And there's all these things that we need to think about, but that's something to look at. Another thing that went wrong. Then, there's the idea that this was a Blackhawk training. Now, what this doesn't mean is it doesn't mean that this was, complete newbies, okay? Perhaps the training mission was training to protect assets in DC, right? It could be the most experienced pilots performing a routine mission. The most experienced pilots train relentlessly. So when we're talking about training, it's not like, oh, they were out trying to learn how to fly the helicopter or doing something like that. It could have been very pertinent to the specific area that they're in, right there over the Potomac River. But the fact that they were there on approach is a problem. Now, another bit of the confusion was, or that could be or lead to the confusion, was that this airplane had originally came in expecting a different runway, so there was a circling to approach, and that could have confused the Blackhawk pilots, because right before this airplane came in, there was an airplane that took off. So whenever the air traffic control was communicating with the Blackhawk about seeing the airplane, undoubtedly the Blackhawk pilots were looking at a different airplane. Now, there's a whole nother item too that would line up to make this layers in the Swiss cheese all line up, that there was enough going on at once in this scenario led to the accident. And that would be that the ADS-B collision warning, even our smaller GA airplanes alert us to warnings. Now, whenever there's a lot going on in that space, we could mistake the threat and think that it's something else that we have our eyes on. And that could be a tunnel vision or focus vision that causes us to miss an item of extreme importance. So, overall, this whole incident just is very sobering. It underscores the really the responsibility that we as pilots have for the lives of others, and just real respect, for the people and the lives that were lost here, and hoping that we don't pass through another, a knee-jerk, integrate different policies, right? And I saw this a lot working risk management in the petrochemical field, where something happened, it's like, oh, that happened, we need to stamp a policy to prevent it, when there's a series of policies and procedures or items that were missed or somehow weren't successful. And so looking at those and why they weren't successful, and how we can train different or be aware and maybe integrate the training that's going on, with air traffic control. I know you've got military operations, civilian, even though ATC, is, part of the government or federal. So those are 5 things. Again, it's the collision avoidance system. The air traffic control was getting a collision alert. The Blackhawk training and their communication, and then the identification confusion, where the Blackhawk pilot identifies the airplane that ATC warns them about. However, it's not the airplane that ATC meant to warn them about, right? Like there was 2 different planes coming through that area, and with all the light noise and pollution, if you will, that can be really difficult, and especially in an area where so much is going on. And then the ADS-B collision warning system that either was inoperable, wasn't, maybe misidentifying, but from the pilot's perspective. So, those are all things that have got to be looked at and reviewed, and all things that contributed to this crash. Thanks again, and look, if these videos help at all, do something for me by liking and subscribing to the video or to the channel. It greatly helps, and I really try to dig into the videos to help us understand what's going on and how we as pilots can accept our responsibility and do great with it. Thanks, and we'll see you on another video.